Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of your favorite program, Facts and Realities of Education. Today we are talking about the impact of social media on studies. With me in the studio here, we have two ladies who would help us to go into the depth of this topic, social media. Names like Facebook, Twitter, Skype, and Instagram, they are becoming a household name in our society. Especially students are those who are highly involved in this means of communication. So today we want to look at how much it affects them, what impact it has on them. In the studios we have two ladies. You are welcome, Miss.
Thank you, Mr. Venasius.
You are welcome, Miss.
Thank you, Mr. Venasius. I'm called Seka Zubairatu.
You are welcome, Seka.
Thank you very much.
Correct. Today we want to look at social media. We begin with Seka. What is social media? We'll talk of social media.
Actually, when they talk about social media, some people get confused of internet and social media.
Exactly.
Between internet and social media, because we talk about social media with the high tech, then the new coming of technologies. Sorry. We talk about Twitter, Instagram, we talk about Facebook, we talk about WhatsApp, which is booging around. So actually, social media is has come to destabilize studies, to destabilize students from studying. I, as a student in masters, it's difficult. I, for one, because when you're like, okay, let me read a bit. Your connection is on tick, you have something, you have a message. The message is not even productive. It is about something that has happened somewhere. It can not only be a message, but it can be an image, and it makes you to comment, and you tend to forget about what you were doing, the main thing, which is your studies. Secondly, the social media has facilitated, how can I say, it has facilitated stealing, because how I explain. Now children nowadays and students nowadays, they turn to take monies from their parents' pocket in order to buy connection, and when they buy the connection, that is the internet connection, they don't make good use of it, like doing research. At first, when you see someone on internet is making good use of it, going what is history, what is geography, what is physics and stuff like that, but nowadays it's no longer it.
Okay.
Again,
yes, go ahead.
Again, social media it's like a barrier, because for instance, when you enter in offices, when you enter in classroom like university, instead for students to share ideas on what is going to take place or what took place that they did not understand, you see them, each one is on his or her phone, instead of collaborating what the teacher taught. And that's how it is, just mixing everything and making things worse. I don't actually know.
Okay, let's bring in this other lady into this conversation. Social media and studies. Is there any relationship?
Of course, like social media and studies, it's true, just like you were earlier saying, social media is more of a hindrance to studies, and it pulls attention of students away from their books and the research they're supposed to be doing as students. But at the same time, I have to disagree with you that social media equally has some positive impact on studies. I, as a student, for one, I can tell you that social media has been a lot of distraction to me, but as a responsible person, as a right-thinking person, and as a student, it is normal that I should be able to put a distinction between my studies and leisure time, which is the social media. And personally, that is me. That is why
is it on a personal note or a general?
It's on a general note, because there are a lot of people as well, because it all depends on your level of self-discipline. If you are not self-disciplined, then don't put the whole blame on social media, because the social media was there for a function. That is,
do you know that they don't take it as a blame, they don't take it as an effect. They have to call on them that social media is being an an effect, because to them, those who are not, as you said, they don't know their way out, they don't know that the social media is affecting them negatively. They don't see it as such.
Okay,
they see it as a distraction. They see it as a form of it's so exciting.
Okay, let's come down to something. We are looking at the impact. This impact must not necessarily be negative. It can be positive.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I wanted to come back to what Cynthia was saying. When we talk of that ability to put off your phone and continue, how concentrated are you? How silent are you in your mind to concentrate after just putting your phone and then sitting down on your studies?
Personally, I can be as silent as I want to. It's just about your state of mind. You know, people have now, it's just that there is this addiction to social media. There are people that in 5 minutes, if they are not on WhatsApp, if they are not on Facebook, they feel as if something is wrong and something is lacking. So they feel like every 5 minutes, oh, I need to check my WhatsApp, who has written
Do you know why?
pictures.
Do you know why?
That is why I call it an addiction.
Because it's not. Do you know why? Because some people, they want to be connected with the world. They want to actually know what is happening while at the place, and that is coming to the positive impact of social media. Because as a human being, as a young generation, Generation Android as they call it, if you don't have social media, in order to be connected to the world, you, for example, you are a student, right?
Yeah.
Now you need a group chat. What in group chat, if you don't have social media, you cannot have the group chat. You need to be informed about.
Please let me come back to this group chat. How useful what is the content of the information that you share in this group chat?
Initially, the group chat is to inform. Like, for instance, here at DBS, the workers, they need to have a group chat to inform each other. For instance, if this one is not coming, to replace, this person is not going to be here on this day because of this and so that. But it's rather unfortunate that some people, they take it to post some images which are not actually it, put people in move which is not actually the right way. Okay, it comes back again to social media because it has two faces: the impact, which is positive, or negative. So the group chat the main purpose, and again the group chat also, it can be for business purpose. You have an article, it facilitates the selling.
But remember, we're talking here about students and studies.
That's why I was going to
our argument is centered around using the social media and studies. Is it an asset to you or a liability? That is where we wanted to come back, and I wanted to touch this point from this angle. For how long can you go without your phone, perhaps on a daily basis? Can you for around 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours?
Personally, as long as I know that as long as I know that I can have access to my phone whenever I want, personally, I prefer to keep it with me all the time. But I can go for as many as even 3 days.
Without consulting,
without going on social media.
No,
of course, I can have money on me and I still don't do it. Why? Because it's a personal decision. That's just the problem we have. We have developed an addiction for social media, and we feel like we cannot do without. Whereas it is just as every other thing, like maybe it is just the same like a dress you have bought and kept somewhere that you must not wear it every day. So you wear certain dresses on certain occasions. It's the same thing like social media. You should consult social media when maybe you need some distraction or sometimes even information. That's why I was trying to disprove what you said. Like you were trying to make it sound like social media is all but negative. Social media has some positive impact. Like I was saying, I'm a student and there's a particular course I can testify that I validated due to WhatsApp. I'm sure that sounds strange, but that course always had it difficult. But while we're reading for exams, there are so many things I didn't understand. I just take my phone, I go on the group chat and I pose a question. People give their different answers, I compare, and then at the end of it I came out with a kind of a summary of everything that I needed, and coincidentally most of those things came in the exam. So that is why I say, so somehow I succeeded in having that course because of social media. So let's not just put this bad notion on.
No, we are not putting bad notion. Let me tell you, I'm not taking side on social media. I just want to bring out the two aspects of social media, and it's now up to you, it is now up to the viewers to weigh the two and choose which is which, because I'm not taking any side. I just want to bring out,
but what we want to do is bring out the impact, as we're using the word impact.
You use
so that
when
we
you
can
say
be
impact,
aware,
you mean the positive impact and
as
the
well
negative,
as the negative impact.
Exactly.
Because I believe that some of students like you, they are unable to detach themselves from their cell phones, if at all, mentally. Even though the phone is lying somewhere, your mind is on that phone. The least noise that comes from that phone, you stop and turn you out. Those are kind of things.
I mean, that's first of all immature. It's really immature.
It is not immature.
And it's
It's
irresponsible.
not immature.
She should develop her point.
That is not the right word. I disagree with her.
Let me learn, please.
It is not immature.
Yes, she should develop her point, and then we come back to it.
Ahead.
What I'm saying, you have a phone. Every other person has a phone, and then you're doing something which is very important, something that will help you maybe in one way or the other. And simply because you heard your phone ring, you have to abandon every other thing you're doing and attend to your phone. First of all, I say that's immature. The same thing, like you see people on the table eating, and maybe because he has a message on WhatsApp, he leaves the food he's eating and with other people, and then
it's not a question of maturity. You know,
it is distraction. That is distraction. Because if you are unable
to place a good distinction between the important things and the unimportant things,
if you are unable to concentrate in whatsoever you're doing, it is not only the social media that would distract you. In whatsoever you'll be distracted.
That's
and
why
that
in
is
this case we are
that is
talking
not
of social.
That is not immaturity.
We are talking of social media. First of all, to me, let's say
what
this
is
one
immaturity?
is personally, this is my own personal opinion.
Yes.
Every matured person is able to cut a line between important and unimportant things. Like if you have that maturity that we are talking about, I don't think you can be studying or maybe doing something that you know is very important and you need to do it at this very moment, and simply because your phone rang or you heard a sound on your phone, you abandon everything to attend to your phone.
Okay,
that is why I call it immaturity.
That is it. But let's look at it in terms, all of us have been students. Let's try to face the reality. Remember, we are talking about facts and realities here. When even if you don't go for the phone, you know that is a message that you have received on your phone. Are you still able to concentrate even without touching the phone? Because you are looking at the book or the pages in front of you, but your mind is like concentrated somewhere.
Of course, you might lose attention for a while.
That is it.
But I'm sure in the next 1 or 2 minutes, if you
when you are
willing,
satisfied reading the message,
you don't even read it. Let's say just the simple fact that you have heard a sound that is different from what you're doing.
Yes.
It is very normal that your mind gets away from what you're doing for a while.
Okay.
But as a responsible for a while.
What
I
do
don't
you
know.
mean by
It differs.
for a while?
It differs from person to person. For me, a while can be 10 seconds. Another person, a while will be 1 minute or even 5 hours or even whatsoever.
Okay,
so
ladies,
it is normal that you get back to what you were doing as soon as possible.
Okay, ladies, let's look at something. We go in depth into this topic. Now, let's look at how do these students come about running this social media? Because to the best of my knowledge, they are not free of charge. We need to pay for the services we use. How do they go about?
That's what I said earlier. Some, for instance, like girls, they turn to do the prostitution in order to get money, to have airtime in the phone, to transform it into internet credit, in order to WhatsApp, to Facebook, to Instagram, and to Twitter, whatsoever. For boys, they turn to steal, or they take something from the house, they go and sell to have money.
Yes.
For some, they try to go to school because in lycees and in colleges, phone has been banned from bringing to school. But with the coming of the social media, you discover that students now they try to hide the phones inside their bag. When the teacher is in class, even why am I even going back to colleges and lycees and whatsoever? Even university, you have because you have the free will. Then nobody asks you what to do and what not to do. Even though the rules have been stated, no phone in class. If you're in class, you put your phone in silent or you put it off. But now, girls, they're in class. What the teacher is saying something there, they are misinterpreting what the teacher is saying and mocking at the teacher. Instead of concentrating, they lack focus on what they are doing. And now at the end, what is going to happen?
Here we are talking about how people achieve, how these students achieve the money to
exactly. I just directed
so from
my
your own point of view,
up to
how do you survive? like a student, at the same time trying to meet up with the demands of your cell phone?
As a student, that I have, I don't know if I should call it a monthly income, but however, I have my own means, I survive. So personally, I know that I have a certain, that's first of all, I handle what is like more important. Maybe I know that I have to buy food stuff and I need to do certain things. And once that is done, I always know that I have to also cut out a little portion, maybe for my own distraction, and which social media is part of. But at the same time, you notice some people go to the extent of stealing, just as she was saying. Some people go to the extent of stealing, and they are dishonest towards their parents simply because they want to achieve money for social media, well, which is incorrect. If you cannot have it by the right means, then it's not obligatory, it's not part of, it's not like blood flowing in
if
your
the
veins.
fees was 1,000, you add it to 2,000
because
exactly,
you have to survive with your phone.
Yeah, you see a student who barely has maybe 15 or 20,000 francs a month, but at the same time you want to check in her phone, she has data connection for a whole month, and you ask her, she will tell you it's 25,000. And you start asking yourself, how managed, where did you earn this kind of money?
Sometimes to starve themselves.
Yeah, that's just another thing.
Starving themselves.
You see someone who have 500 francs, and she's very hungry, instead of buying something to eat, she'll start calling maybe one boy or the other to take her to a restaurant, while she would prefer to take that money and transfer credit in order to activate her social media.
These are realities that we live in.
There is another point that I would like to raise up here, that now with the coming of the social media, some students, they prefer not to go to school, they stay at home, that their mates, they are going to send them the lesson through the phone. So
if their mates should misinterpret the lesson, they would equally misinterpret.
Exactly.
Because they will send the wrong note.
Those are the inconveniences of social media.
Let us take this discussion from the university level. Let's come down to the secondary school level, because that's where the ball of contention is. You talked about you being able to discipline yourself, because at this point I believe you know what is right and what is wrong. You know what you want to go for, and you know what the society is imposing on you. Now, what about these students who are in Form 3, Form 4, who just have their telephones?
Personally, I believe that at that state, you're still in the secondary school. To me, you don't even have the right to phone and social media.
Exactly.
Because at that time, you're not yet responsible enough to really make a distinction between the importance of social media and your education or any other thing.
Yes.
So to me, parents who even give those Android phones, especially, let's say for the sake of communication, you can offer your child maybe this what we call choronko, maybe just for communications. But
why
you see
even going there? Why not install a city phone in the house? With the coming of social media also, now there are no longer city phone in the house.
Yeah, and then you see a child of Form 2, Form 3, she's holding an Android phone, Samsung S5, and you ask yourself, what kind of parent does that? And it is normal that that child will be distracted all the time and will not even have time for the book, will not have time to study. So to me, at a certain stage, at a certain age, a child does not even have the right to social media.
Okay.
At that level, that is what I call irresponsibility of parents.
Okay. Now let us come down to something. Now let's extend the effects, because you discover most of this social media, they go through shorthand writing. How does that affect the student?
Really, it's terrible. You see, we have this habit when we are texting or when we are on social media. Maybe you want to write something like thank you. You see somebody writes THX and they know that that means thanks. It has gone to the extent where even in a classroom, even in an exam hall, instead of writing words in full, people abbreviate everything. And you see someone fails the exam, you have the ideas correct, but just for the fact that you cannot take, you're so used to writing in the short form. So even when you find yourself in an official situation where you have to write it correctly, you still write it in the short form unconsciously. And then there's also the fact that people don't spell words anymore. There's on Android phones, once you start typing a word, maybe something like arrangement. Before you write the third letter, even it proposes the full word. Just click on it. So it is now to an extent where people don't even know how to spell words anymore.
Okay,
then there is another point that I will raise up.
Because we are almost.
There is another point now is students are unable to address an application, to write a letter. Everything is becoming catastrophic.
Okay, let's assume that you had the opportunity to talk to your friends who are listening to you, who are students like you, who had been students like you. What will you tell your colleague students?
First, I'm going to say this. Social media is not a need. Maybe it's just a want. Maybe for distraction or to I don't know, to please yourself once in a while. But social media, you should not get addicted to it. You should just go on it once in a while, and for sometimes even for studies it can help you. So we should not cultivate this mind as if social media is everything to us. We can do without it, and we should do without it at times, as long as it is for our benefit. So we should learn how to draw this clear-cut line between leisure and that is your responsibilities or your duties.
Okay, Seka, if you had the opportunity to talk to our parents, because our parents have a part to play in this, as I understand, what would you tell parents who have students who are in school and they are victims of?
Actually, what I would tell the parents is that they should take care of the children, because the coming generation, they are very stubborn. They should act the way, how can I say it? I don't really know how I can say it, but they should be more secure, because even at school, I think the parents also need to have different teachers in school to tell them to look after their children while they are at home, because the children, even they are becoming more stubborn, that the parents are unable to handle them. So I call on parents to put more secure on their children. If not, the social media would take them away from them. Just like what happened like few months back, just because of social media, 2 little girls, they had to say they are traveling to France because of the images that they got. So stuffs like that are becoming more and more out of hand.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to the end of this edition. It has been brief, but then we believe that the essential has gone through. We will be coming back again on another burning topic on education from next week. Until then, have a blessed day.